All right, welcome back to another episode of Thanks for the Consult. As always, I'm Fior, and we have Aaron.
Greetings and salutations.
Oh my! And today's guest we have Josh. Josh, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Yourself?
No, not too bad. Now, I know you. I've had the pleasure of working with you before. I think Aaron, we discussed, might have done some precepting. Maybe not directly with you, but met you a little bit. But for those that may not know you at home, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a full-time paramedic in the East Zone of Allegheny County, where I've had my entire career. I've been in EMS for 16 years, I want to say. It was 2009 is whenever I started. I moved down here. I was at the time going to school for business, decided I wanted to pursue a career in fire and EMS, and then kind of been stuck working in EMS ever since. So I know that sounds bad, but I don't mean it like that. But it kind of draws you in, and then you're
No, it sucks you in, man, for sure. I think everybody has a different, I used to call it an origin story. Aaron, correct me. I guess it's called a hero arc. But, some people, it's the adrenaline. Some people, that might be a family connection or, what have you. But once you're in it, you kind of, I noticed you either get in and get out real quick, or you get in and you don't get out. Like you end up, you love it. Even on the bad days, there's usually something, good that you can draw out of that day. But yeah, that's awesome. So you were going to school for business. That's I briefly left the EMS field to pursue a career in business, and I ended up coming right back. So
it's a big difference. The two do not correlate at all.
not at all. Not at all. So you are or were a volunteer fireman. I remember that. You still doing anything in that space?
I do not. I haven't done it in many years at this point. Since my kids were born, I have two young children under the age of 12. I don't have time between my full-time employer and two children. Even if I wanted to, it would not be
Oh yeah.
a thing at this.
Yeah, and I know your schedule, man. Like I said, I used to work with you, so I know that schedule, and that's certainly not easy to juggle, even having a family and that schedule, much less adding in anything else.
Have you
Um,
considered sacrificing your happiness and your family for the job?
I think that that's a daily case at this point. Many times I sacrifice my own sanity and my wife's sanity for this job, to be honest with you, and she'll tell you the same thing.
That is the hero arc of a whacker, is to sacrifice all you have to hold a hose.
I mean, not to get down on you, Josh, but quite frankly, you just don't have the mustache for it currently.
I know I think this is more of like a Mexa stash here. It's not. It doesn't have that fullness that is required to be a firefighter.
Exactly.
I think if you just eliminated the beard, just by like contrast, you could maybe get yourself into whacker territory.
So I have had that in the past. Fior can attest to this. Some people say that it looks either like a pedophile, or others say that it looks like either a Mexican or Paul Skeens. That's about it.
Yeah, I do know that when he has his stash and we get called to the elementary school, the cops tend to follow him pretty close. But speaking of volunteer firefighting and mustaches, have you seen our good buddy TK recently?
I saw your last episode with him, and it's impressive.
Yeah, he's growing that bad boy out. Yeah, I want to see him do the full handlebar curly Q thing that Mr. Ziff used to do.
He still does
doing
it.
that? Oh,
Yes, he does.
Now I need to figure out how to get the both of them together with their curly Q mustaches.
We actually went to one of our facilities the other day, and the complex, the building that we were in, their hairdressing or hair salon is on the third floor, if I'm not mistaken. The second or third floor, it's on one of the upper levels.
Okay.
And we get off the elevator to go to one of the rooms, apartments, and the ladies that were working there started making comments to Ziff about his curly cues. So I have continued that. I was like, hey, the hairdressers want to sit on your face, Mr. Ziff. And he,
Man.
you know how he gets the real rosy red cheeks, very, very flustered. So I've just continued that for the past week.
Nice. I had a patient the one day, she dislocated her elbow, I think, but we gave her fentanyl, and she's a very tiny lady. So like it hit her pretty hard. We walked into the hospital and there's another crew there, younger guy who's like trying to grow out his mustache. I was like, hey, ma'am, what do you think of that young man's mustache? She's like, well, it needs to grow a little more, but you'll get there, son, or something like that. How you gonna have your patients heckle me about my mustache? I was like, how am I not gonna have my patients heckle you about your mustache?
I
It's
think the
irresponsible
best
not
part
to.
of the job is
Oh yeah,
when you have somebody that's that easy to pick on them, and jokingly, of course.
yeah,
And to
yeah.
get the patients to heckle your partner on top
Oh
of it
yeah,
just makes your day sometimes.
absolutely. I mean, we've talked about this before, but like whenever you're spending that much time with somebody, um, especially like where you work, you have the same people on your line working 6 shifts in a row with 2 days off. Uh, you got to find some way to kind of spice it up, make it interesting. I mean, I used to have patients if my partner drove real bad to the hospital, I'd hand him a flush. I'm like, as soon as he opens those doors, you hit that thing in. I got one guy, she got him right here. He didn't know what was going on. I was like, what the heck?
Done that before, and then depending on who it is, even if there's someone you're close with, I've seen people have a full blown meltdown in the ambulance entrance over a flush.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I ever got you with this, but I do know that I have like moved ambulances in the ER, especially like out at East, where it's like inexplicably there's 20 ambulance spots, and like you go in and I take your truck and put it all the way at the very end, or like take it and spin it around so it's facing in.
You have not done it to me. I've done it to other people as well. Specifically, I like doing it not at the ambulance entrance or at the hospital. I like doing it like if somebody's at Sheets, moving it to the other side of the parking lot. So they walk out all dumbfounded and people are looking at them like, what's wrong? And then they have to do the walk of shame across the parking lot.
Thanks for the consult, do not support Grand Theft Auto. Just a disclaimer for our lawyers. Go ahead. Thank you.
I mean, we do, however, support, tomfoolery, ballyhoo, and shenanigans in most forms.
To be fair, I never stated that I
To be
did it to
fair.
other ambulance services.
Thanks for the consult, do not support Grand Theft Auto, as previously iterated. Thank you.
Quick question there, Aaron Esquire. Like Josh was saying, if it's like another ambulance in your fleet for the service you work for, does that qualify as Grand Theft Auto?
I'm not here to comment on legal advice. That will be for our lawyers. I will say this. We at Thanks for the Consult do not support Grand Theft Auto. Thank you.
Huh. Well,
That's a nice disclaimer there.
Yeah, the disclaimer is unfortunately less than helpful.
Been really like working hard on my disclaimers. That's something that I've been told I have to do a lot of now, based on the things that I say and the things that I do.
It's a newfound passion of yours.
Disclaiming.
Maybe I should start giving disclaimers before I start my shift every single day.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
I've done it, like when I pick up, at a part-time place and I'm like coming in off a busy shift at my full-time job, I'll be like, hey, just so you know, like I'm going to provide the best patient care I can today, but I'm going to be in the bunk room when I'm not doing that. Please leave me alone.
I like to use disclaimers as a way to just like treat other people like garbage. So you come in and you say, hey, just so you know, I had a bad day. And then after that, you can do and say whatever you want because you already told everybody you had a bad day.
I'm not certain that that's how that works, bud.
We at Thanks for the Consult do support manipulation and gaslighting. Thank you.
No, we do not.
Believe me, we are well aware of gaslighting and what can go on there.
Yeah. Speaking of gaslighting, I don't remember why I don't know why this is coming to mind, but I remember a call I had out there where we both
with the propane tank.
No, I had a patient that was like super combative, and I'm guessing like a doc that just wanted to see how many punches I could take, because I called for sedation orders and they were like, is that really necessary? I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting punched in the throat. So kinda, you know what I mean? So they denied my request. So I told my partner, I'm like, don't sit in traffic. Like, just kind of get me there, which was a mistake in hindsight. And they drove me. I can't say lights and sirens to the hospital. I can just say sirens to the hospital. The lights were never on, apparently, which I had no idea of that because I'm in the back of the truck. And, people are calling on the radio and I'm like, can you please answer them? And then my phone starts ringing and I'm like, I can't like deal with this right now because I'm literally like at this point just like spider monkey on top of the patient, holding them to the stretcher. Like, I can't do anything. So I finally get to the hospital, transfer care, and start calling people back to like, your lights weren't on. I'm like, I was inside the back of the truck, but it certainly explains how bumpy that ride was.
Did you consider sedating the patient anyway?
I had, but under the command physician that this service had, the first time I met them, accused me of being racist and not giving enough pain meds to minorities, even though at the time you had to request pain meds for everything except like quite obvious musculoskeletal trauma. And she would often deny me those pain meds that I've requested. So I felt it best to just sacrifice my body for the cause as opposed to another lecture about how I'm the worst person to have ever existed.
We at Thanks for the Consult do support violating medical command orders.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
That sounds like a terrible thing to say, but hey,
Right.
sometimes you got to do what you got to do and live in the gray.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support, Josh.
I will say now,
Absolutely.
I don't find myself in those situations because I know that my medical director supports me and has my back. And there have been times, because where I work, I don't have, cell service a lot, that I've had to just kind of do what I think's best. And you call afterwards and he's like, yeah, sounds good. Or, hey, maybe next time consider this. But, ultimately, it's anytime that something isn't perfect, it's like a learning experience, not a chance to reprimand or call me racist for being white. So,
well, isn't that what makes a better provider is correcting the issues in that sort of fashion, opposed to automatically going back to reprimands?
I would,
whether
I
that be a
agree with
verbal
that.
lashing or by other means.
No, absolutely. I think so for sure.
I thought for sure you were going to say, isn't that what makes a good EMS provider is withholding pain management for minorities? I was like, Josh, we at Thanks for the
No, I'm
Consult
not
do
gonna go
not
down that
support
path.
withholding pain management for minorities.
No, I'm not going to go down that path.
I mean, I think
We might get this whole thing canceled today if we go down that path right at the moment.
Right.
I've been considering
at this
changing my
point-
suffix from a paramedic to a paralegal.
Huh. I think you have to go to some sort of class or something on that. But I think I found the title. I think it's just, season 3, episode 3, the most disclaimers ever.
Wait, we're on season 3?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations,
know.
guys. That's been
Yeah, I mean, I will say
It's a lot of
seasons.
episodes.
Yeah, they're somewhat arbitrary, the seasons. I mean, we just kind of picked a number and we're like, oh, this is what a season holds. So there's
Could you have like unlimited season 1, or do you have to split them up?
no. I mean, we could even go back to season 1. We could go from season 3 to season 1 if we wanted. There's no rules. We're in charge,
What is season 11 if not just a repeat of season 1?
Theoretically, 10 seasons post.
We at
season
Thanks for
1.
the Consult do not support skipping numbers in sequential order.
Anyways, so Josh, you have 2 kids, keeping you busy for sure.
Which one's your
They-
favorite?
What an
Depends on the
asinine
day.
question.
There is a correct
Depends on
answer.
the day.
Yeah.
I think depends on the day is the correct answer.
Yeah. Right. They still doing dance and all that?
No.
No.
This year, my daughter that was in on a competition dance team decided that she wanted to try competition cheerleading. So
Okay. So now
we
we're
switched from one to the other. My pockets are liking that quite a bit, at least to this point.
it's a good move then financially.
Financially, it is, yes.
Good. So
Have
now
you
just gotta-
considered starting a show called Dance Dads?
well,
I think that would just involve a lot of beverages and stuff that people might find entertaining, but probably would have to be after midnight.
yeah. Well, also historically, shows about dance parents taking place in the eastern hills of Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh have ended with incarceration and
Wait,
federal
that show was
tax.
filmed in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was filmed in Penn Hills.
Yeah. It's now a bus garage, that building, right?
Yeah, I think it's it's definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's a school bus garage.
Yeah. A buddy of mine, his wife grew up in Penn Hills and she actually like went to that place for dance lessons or whatever. Like obviously back before the TV show and theoretically before the tax evasion, but I don't know.
Some argue that trafficking occurred before the show. Now there's just traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We at Thanks for the Consult do not support trafficking.
I wonder if there's like a filter I can put on to like find all the disclaimers. But,
It'd probably be less entertaining if it came from a bot, though.
no, I agree. I just kind of want to count them all and maybe put like a little
Make a
number,
compilation highlight video with
just all the disclaimers. Yeah.
I mean, they all start with "we at Thanks for the Consult." So whenever you do the captioning, it'll probably be fairly easy to search by word.
Fair enough. Anyways, Josh, so that's good, man, that they're finding it more financially reasonable.
Are they whackers too?
They are not. One of them hates blood and is scared to death of it. The other one, she has no idea what she wants at this point. She just likes running around and doing whatever comes to mind at the moment. She's a little bit younger, so.
Are you planning on berating them until they become whackers?
No, I'll let them make their own decision because one of them wants to be a lawyer. I feel like that might be a better option than doing this.
I mean,
long term,
certainly,
especially financially.
Yeah. And for, your long-term elder care.
Yes.
It might be better that she's
Perhaps
a
she'd
lawyer.
be willing to provide us free consultation here at Thanks for the Consult.
Yeah. We might need it. But yeah, so you still kind of keeping your options open as far as if a paid fire EMS gig were to present itself. Then what's kind of like your favorite part though of the EMS, I guess, career? And certainly not the hours. I can assure you that.
I think it's the freedom to kind of not be strapped down to a desk, to be able to go around, do what you want to some extent within reason, but also have the freedom to treat patients with autonomy, to be able to follow your own protocols, do things that other careers in medicine can't. Maybe they can in some aspects. I certainly give them props. I don't want to do their jobs. I don't want to be in a hospital or anything like that.
No.
But it's kind of cool being able to do all this stuff and being trusted to do it, but have your own freedom at the same time. It's very different than other careers and professions.
Absolutely. I think as far as medicine goes, I genuinely don't know anybody with a wider scope of practice than us, other than like an EM physician, because, you go into the hospital, everything's done by a specialty, right? Like there's your IV team or your techs and the nurses, they can all do them. But like, there's usually somebody that specializes in getting that IV started. The cardiologist makes a definitive answer on the EKG, and, respiratory and airway anesthesia, depending on your state and whatever, they do all the intubations and airway management. And it's like, all of that is us, plus figuring out like a field diagnosis as to what the heck's going on, starting the treatment plan. And we have parameters to stay within, but we make all the decisions as far as which avenue we're going to go down. And then there are certain things we have to call and ask for, orders on. But even that, they're still entrusting us that our judgment is sound and that we're looking at the patient and diagnosing appropriately. Right. So we're not like, I want to, give them sedation and it's really they're just bradycardic or something,
a lot of it's critical thinking too, which I think is kind of a cool aspect of it. Many jobs, you kind of have a set parameter, like we just discussed, of what you have to do. You know what you're going to be in all the time, or at least for the most part. And that goes for medicine as well. And a lot of times in the hospitals, like a nurse has to know, she has to be on the spot with her medications and everything else. They have to be very good at what they do, but they're also falling under a doctor. So they're always checked. Whereas we're entrusted to do all of that by not only our coworkers, the patients, the families, but also the doctors that we're working under, which is kind of a cool aspect of the job that most people don't realize.
Yeah. Like if you watch like a cardiac arrest or a code in the hospital, there's just a plethora of people. There's a pharmacist that's, handing meds to the nurse that's pushing the meds based on what the doc's asking for, respiratory's there, managing the airway. It's just like there's so many people involved, and we're out here doing it with like 2, 3, or 4 people.
Yep. On a good day, 3 or 4.
Sometimes when you're lucky, a nurse will come up to you while you're on scene and offer you the help that you so desperately needed.
But can you entrust that they are actually a nurse and not just a CNA claiming to be a nurse?
Well, it doesn't matter what they are. They're going to help. If they've heard of a nurse before, they're useful.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
We at Thanks for the Consult do not support nurses practicing as paramedics unless they have a PHRN. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that last disclaimer for sure. Um, Random, but
We actually, so on that note, they hired a part-time PHRN, and I didn't realize the lack of training that they have between. There's a huge disconnect from going
Yeah.
from a PHRN to a paramedic. It's actually very concerning.
yeah.
They're like, have you seen an EKG before? Here's how you intubate one time. Okay, go do it.
Well,
It's
ultimately,
scary, and then they don't even know how to use the equipment.
Yep.
You have to teach them everything once they get into the field training part. And
Yeah.
it's actually it's scary.
like ultimately there's some level of chance to it. So just because you passed your nursing boards and you hold an EMT certification, that doesn't translate to a paramedic by any means, like you said. And it's possible that they get a real like A&P heavy registry exam, or stuff that is going to be in their wheelhouse that wouldn't necessarily prove that they're going to have the entirety of the scope, and then they just throw them into like a field precepting. And like I don't think there's any nursing school that teaches intubation. Very few even teach.
They don't even let you do
IVs.
IVs. Yeah, you can't do like
Yeah.
anything until you're like actually out of school. Isn't
Yeah.
PHRN just a Pennsylvania thing though?
No.
There's one other state, I believe, in the country that allows it.
Right, but like most states, like if you said
I'm
PHRN,
not
they'd be
positive,
like,
but
"What's
I think
that?"
it's I
Which
know
is
it's not a
wild.
widespread thing.
Do you know
Don't
what the
get me
other state
wrong,
is?
like they're I want to say it's one of the Carolinas, but I could be wrong.
Not a neighboring state.
Illinois.
I don't think so. Oh, okay.
According to the Google. But I guess most of them, they'll still let you challenge the paramedic test, but there's not a PHRN certification.
Yeah, that's an interesting like reciprocity
Okay.
situation because like right now I can go just use my NREMT to work in a different state, but as a PHRN, like you can't, but you can, but you
Yeah.
can't.
So you would need to, it looks like anywhere other than Illinois and Pennsylvania, you would need to actually get the paramedic license, which they can still do, but that's the only way it would translate. And that's of course according to the Google machine. So take that for what it is. Usually they're fairly accurate anyways. But yeah, so that makes sense.
The Googs.
The Googs coming through in a clutch. But I know a couple PHRNs, and most of them are pretty good now at what they do.
They're kind of like AMTs. You never know what you're gonna get.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
clinically they're usually okay, but they just need to change their thought process from
Yeah.
what I'm seeing. They have a very hospital-oriented thought process, and they have to completely rewire their brain to pre-hospital and be able to think outside the box sometimes.
Like we definitely think like down the road, but there's also the point where it's like, if we're not going to make it down the road, we need to start fixing right here, right now kind of stuff.
Yes.
I have noticed a lot of people that I've worked with that are EMTs that are in nursing school or like fresh out of nursing school or PHRNs, like they're certainly more, I guess, anecdotally anyways, they're more apt to just grabbing and running to the hospital instead of like treating on the X, as they say. So I wonder if that's kind of a comfort thing, like in the hospital, you have, your normal, what you're used to surroundings, as opposed to, two caffeine infused people in a box truck,
I've never treated on the X, but I've been mistreated by my ex. Does that count?
I'm sorry to hear that, buddy, but
I
also
think that's a little
do
different,
better.
but
We at Thanks for the Consult do not support domestic violence.
I think that was
Correct.
actually more of you being an advocate against it more
Yeah.
so than
Thank you, Josh. You see the best
Yeah.
in me,
You're
and I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Unlike his ex.
I think she's
No
the one that
comment.
needs it.
Right. No, that's interesting though. But I haven't had the opportunity to work with like an abundance of the PHRN folk. Although there's a couple, at the service you and I have worked for that I guess they're not PHRNs where they are, but they have a medic license that are pretty good. But they were
I think
medics
that's very
first,
different though.
weren't they?
Yeah, but I think that's very different because they get to see both aspects
Yeah.
while going through the class for both, which is very different than the PHRN, which is a very brief class that really does not do them any justice or any.
Yeah.
It's a disservice to them, to be completely honest, because they're getting very minimal training and pre-hospital care under the assumption that just because they're a nurse they can do it.
Yeah.
And then they come out into the real world and they start doing training with the crews that they're working with, third person or whatever, and realize that they need a lot more than what anyone was expecting.
Yeah. Well, even the simple things like reading the heart monitor, like doing that with the equipment in the hospital that is certainly better as far as like image clarity and things like that. And it's 100% stationary as opposed to the heart monitors we use, which much smaller screens. Yeah, you have a smaller printout and you often have to read through the artifact of bouncing down a cobblestone road or something. Like, and there's, we're certainly more feral creatures out in the pre-hospital world for sure.
That's fair.
So
You know what really bothers me?
What's that?
yeah, what is it, bud?
There's a perfect opportunity to refer to PHRNs as ferns, and nobody does it.
Yeah. What would be gained by calling them a fern? Or
I
what is
suppose nothing.
well, how about this? What is lost by not calling them ferns?
The joy of
I think
having
it's
a
just an
fun
indifferent
title.
statement.
Yeah. What about paherns?
But there's no meaning to paherns.
Yeah. But like it's
Ferns are at
spelling.
least a real thing.
Are you talking about the big leafy things that like in Egyptian times, like important people would get fanned with?
Sure.
I think you're thinking of palm fronds,
Thank you.
not ferns, but
I am.
similar. I know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I thought like maybe I was the dumb one there for a second, so I like didn't want to call him out. But I was like, that seems like I was like getting ready to say Hosanna or something, and then
Fior knows
Yeah.
that I'm open. I'm an open book.
Yeah, you're very open with everything. Yeah. I remember we had a coworker that really didn't like you because you found out that it made him uncomfortable when you were naked, and you made it your mission to when he would walk into the locker room just be greeted by your naked body. So
well,
you
yeah,
know,
thanks
You
for the
know,
consult.
I
Do not
mean,
support sexual harassment.
it's
mean,
not sexual harassment
yeah.
if I'm getting in the shower. It's a locker room.
then we're out of the shower.
It's not like I was harassing him. If anything, he was harassing me by staring at me.
Yeah. And I will say it always happened in the confines of the locker room. I don't once recall a time where it was even suggested or reported that he was naked outside of the locker
What about in a hot
It's
tub?
fair.
room.
That is very frowned upon, especially in this area right now. I feel like that's a sore subject.
Anyway, no disclaimer on that one, Aaron. That's crazy.
Well,
No,
yeah,
I
thanks
think
for the
that one needs to
consult.
be
Do not
left.
support inside jokes.
We support inside jokes for sure.
Just maybe not the hot tub time machine ones.
Yeah, that movie was like wackadoodle. Like the whole concept of
That
it was
whole
insane.
time frame of movies was whack.
Yeah. Did you watch that Code 3 movie? The new
I have
Rain?
not had the opportunity to see it yet.
Yeah. So we actually reached out to Rainn Wilson to see if he'd want to come on the show. And you might find this extremely surprising, but he did not respond. So I mean, I'm still gonna watch
Shocker.
the movie, but
But if
Wait.
Rainn Wilson doesn't respond after this clip, he's a hater and he does not support EMS and he does not want to see us be successful despite his advocacy. So just
I think everyone
out
that
there.
watches this episode should tag him in the episode and see what happens in
I
a
can-
response.
I can support that. Yeah. Let's everybody tag Rainn Wilson, see if we can't get him on. Thanks for the consult. Do some
I
community.
think he'd actually
engagement.
fit very well on this one.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm sure
I agree.
it would be a great episode for a rainy day.
Hey, I'm sure his manager, publicist, whomever would be like, you should probably only take paid gigs from podcasts that make money, not some guys.
I will pay
Yeah.
him
Yeah, but
$5.
he was talking about with one of the show hosts on something about, I think it was one of the late night hosts. They asked him about EMS in general and what he thought, and he went on a whole thing about how he's an advocate now for EMS.
Yeah.
One of the executive producers of the movie was actually a paramedic, and most of the stuff that was on it was true stories.
Yeah.
Obviously twisted for Hollywood, but
Well, I can
It'd
say,
be pretty crazy if he like went on there and was like, nah, they don't need the help. Leave him
I
be.
can. The clips I saw looked pretty accurate. Like I want to see it. I remember there's like the one trailer, the scene where he's like laying on the couch eating ice cream, just like screaming at the TV about like doing it wrong. Like, oh, you can't talk when you're intubated. That's bullshit. I'm like, I'm sure those words have come out of my mouth before. Like my wife likes all the medical drama shows, hates when I watch them with her because I'm like, that's inaccurate. That's insane. That'll never happen.
They did
No, they
nail the
drive me
part
nuts.
where they did nail the part where sniff nurses have no idea what.
I've been on that call. Oh, they were fine 5 minutes ago. They were not alive 5 hours ago.
It was like
yeah,
it's like
almost
Schrodinger's
every
cat.
single day that I work.
Right.
It was like Schrodinger's cat. They didn't see them until 5 minutes ago, so they were fine until they looked at the patient.
They were both alive and dead 5 minutes ago, until somebody went in the room and sorted it out. But
Just remember, it was shift change. I just started.
I don't
I don't
I'm not
normally
from
work on this
unit.
floor.
They're new here.
Yeah, no one that works at a sniff has ever been there for more than like a week. They're all like, "Oh, I'm brand new."
No.
I mean, to
They're
be
all brand new
fair,
employees.
that's fairly accurate. We have a mutual friend that worked at a nursing facility, and it was the worst 2 years of his life, I think. Like, he absolutely hated it. I'd hate it. Can you imagine?
Can we shout him out?
Yeah. Jorge Cornelius. What's up, bro?
Yeah, shout out Jorge, bro.
We have
That'd be
to,
the worst job ever.
dude, we have to get him on here, but he had the worst of the worst job. So he was a tech, but he was like, he specialized, or he became like the go-to guy, the SEAL Team 6, if you will, but only of prolapsed rectums. So like when
Oh boy.
somebody's rectum would fall out, he'd have to like get it back in there. And if he was unsuccessful, then they called 911 and had him taken to the hospital. But
What a reputation to have.
yeah,
That would be terrible.
right? That'd be a shitty job. Hey,
I suppose it's better to be the one who fixes the prolapse rectum than to be the one who causes it.
yes.
We here at Thanks for
so
the
many
Consult do not
reasons.
support prolapse rectums.
Well,
Although I think both of those would be better than the person that has the prolapsed rectum.
yeah, for sure. I can't imagine that would feel good. I don't know. At least, yeah. Anyway.
It's
Yeah,
I'm
kinky.
so-
surprised you haven't been there yet, Fior.
No, not been there. Yeah, it's the stuff leading up to that's the problem. Or its absence, I guess.
That's on his bucket
intestines.
list.
It's not at all on my bucket list. But yeah, no, I would absolutely hate working in a nursing facility. But yes, also don't be a scumbag and ignore your patients. And like, also, like I had one, it was me and Bill, and we get there and they're like, they had a seizure. I'm like, well, what makes you think they had a seizure? Well, they have a history of seizures. I'm like, I get that, but like, what about them today specifically makes you believe this patient has had a seizure? They're like, I don't know. They're down the hall. I'm like, cool. Like we go down there and the patient is like, sonorous respirations at like 4 a minute, pinpoint pupils. I'm like, no, unless they seized and accidentally took a bunch of opioids, I think we're just having an overdose to an opioid toxicity. So a little bit of Narcan, they're wide awake. And, it's like, wow, they still need to go. I'm like, I agree. It's not safe for them here.
They need to go, but for a different reason than what you're
Yeah.
implying.
Yeah. And then
We need to get them placed in a better location.
yeah, exactly. And then they get all indignant with you about like, what are you accusing me of? Nothing. Just letting you know that they responded to Narcan. So that I don't
I have
think
a
it's
couple of
seizure.
stories going down that.
Yeah. Aaron, are you practicing being a statue or do you have a question?
I do have a question. I just didn't want to be rude and interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. Also, just so you know, when you scooch back like that, you just look like a shadow figure. And it's
Right.
You
kinda-
do look
how
like a
kinda
statue.
creepy.
That's how I prefer it. My question.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am.
I didn't
Already
want to.
noted.
I didn't
Long
want to
time
start
listener,
asking it.
first time caller.
I didn't want to ask before you were prepared. I just thought that would be rude. So you are
Okay.
ready? Okay.
Yes,
cool.
sir.
What is your favorite call that you were just like, wow, I never would have thought that I would be in a situation like this?
Well, two come to mind. Both of them are completely ridiculous. Well, one of them is not ridiculous. Whenever I was a brand new paramedic, I went to back up another crew. The guy now works for STAT, and it was for a cardiac arrest. Arrived on scene. The guy was he was fornicating with his old lady and was just rocked up and went into cardiac arrest. I was fairly new in EMS. I wouldn't say new, but I was a brand new paramedic, and I was just like, what is going on right now? Not what you expect whenever you walk into a cardiac arrest. People are usually flaccid all around. He was definitely not. So walking into that was very different.
Do you inspect everybody to ensure that they are all flaccid on every cardiac arrest?
Oh, dude, in
Well,
the East
I don't
Boroughs,
exactly
you don't die
check
with clothes
that
on.
part. Yes, most people do not. That is a very legitimate statement. And the other one was within the past 2 years. Fewer might have still been working at the same time as me. And he was not my partner this day. We go to one of our regulars, who I know has been discussed on this podcast before. And we walk in. He's in his first floor apartment. We've broken the door numerous times to get in because either they changed the locks or whatever. And we walk in, and his pants are kind of covering his stuff. There's a bottle of Vaseline next to him and a dirty rag. And he's like, I need lifted off the couch and put back into my motorized wheelchair. And that was one of the few moments during this. I was like, why am I doing this job? This is not what I had thought I would be doing whenever I started working in EMS. And here I am lifting some guy who's an alcoholic and cannot care for himself off the couch after he just got done jerking off.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider having him arrested?
Several times.
Well, so one of the officers has a whole case file on him. He at one point did, but I don't know whatever happened with that. I don't know why nothing ever came of it. It was pushed. We've tried going through the Department of Health, the Department of Aging. Nobody seems to really care that much, to be completely honest with you, and it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Have you considered hiring a hitman?
See, it seems
Or a hit woman.
unnecessary because, like, you look at this dude and it's implausible that he's alive. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, his entire diet is a bottle or two of shitty vodka a day and, like, maybe a Colt 45 on a good day. Like, I've never actually seen food in this dude's apartment, just empty booze bottles.
Well, if you give him 2 zigzags, that's all he needs.
Right. Yeah. No, but honestly, I've never, and like, he's like, he'll forget to charge his wheelchair because he's just inebriated, and he'll end up just like broke down in the middle of the place and not able to reach his button to call 911 for days. Like, he doesn't die. I kind of think he's going to outlive all of us because he's like actually a cockroach.
He's a human cockroach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this guy a cat? Is this just a cat that you're talking about?
I think it's a cockroach.
Cats
or two
clean
and a trench
themselves,
coat.
though. That's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
They're self-sufficient, but they clean themselves.
He is always covered in at least piss, and oftentimes
his,
you
right?
know, I've never asked, honestly, partially because I'm afraid to find out the answer, I think.
It's not yours.
No, it's never been mine.
We at Thanks for the Consult do not support urinating on patients.
No, that's a good disclaimer for sure.
Or anybody.
Well, yeah.
Unless it's approved, then I mean, I guess, even though it's not my thing.
In what circumstances would it be approved?
We here at Thanks for the
think it would have to be
Consult
consensual.
don't approve of kink shaming.
Yeah, I think it would have to be consensual. Not my thing.
Yeah,
But
no,
Can you get a medical command order for that?
I doubt it. I mean,
I doubt it, but I feel like it
yeah.
depends on the doctor.
maybe if you're in a relationship and you're role playing with this command doc, they might.
Josh, I would like you to elaborate on which doctors you think would approve that order.
I think there's just a wide array of doctors. There's always a chance that somebody may.
I think I can answer that question. May I take a stab at that question, Aaron? Well, too bad. I'm going to. I feel as though if you ever become a medical command doc, you would approve such nonsense order.
We at Thanks for the Consult do not support that previous statement that Fior just made about me and my future.
Well, only half of us here, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, Josh, back to somewhat of reality. I can't remember if you were there or not. I know we had a second truck because, like, dude was basically trapped under his wheelchair and we needed, like, people to, like, lift up the chair and pull him out. So, like, we had 2 trucks there for him once. Like, we got the wheelchair flipped back over and he ended up coming out into the hallway. And, like, some old lady comes out and is like, he's out here harassing us again. And one of the officers that we both know grabbed his handcuffs and, like, tapped him on the glass and, like, held him up. And the dude just, like, turned around and went back down the hall to his apartment.
I was not there, but that would have been a sight to see.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. Like, we were out of his apartment for literally 3 seconds before some lady comes out and is like, he's out here harassing all of us. So I get the impression that the other residents in this building hate him.
I can't imagine why that would be the case. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. Always so clean and hygienic as well. I remember taking him the one day, like, he was actually really sick. So, like, we felt it prudent to get a line on him. And Like we like went through several towels trying to get literal feces off of his arms to even look for an IV. It was disgusting. And I think they just took him into the decon room and hosed him down once we got there.
I feel like they should just do that every time that he goes to the hospital at this point.
Oh yeah. It's the only time he bathes is like forced decon. I don't think he actually has any other bathing habits. I could be wrong. So yeah. We had some good times working out there. We did.
It's a very diverse call volume.
When I got into EMS, I thought decon was going to be something much cooler than what it is. Like, I
Yeah.
thought it'd be like, oh, there was a toxic gas, and I got to get the toxic gas stuff off of me, or I'd die. And then really, it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, somebody pooped a lot.
Yeah.
That's usually what it is.
Bed bugs or poop.
Both of which are equally disgusting.
Yeah. And often one does accompany the other,
Yes,
you know. I mean,
it's true.
I think I've had poo covered patients that don't have bed bugs, but I don't think I've had a bed bug ridden patient that isn't also covered in poo, you know? Like I don't know.
Usually, if you're disgusting enough for one, you're disgusting enough for both.
We then for
Yeah.
the consult do not endorse poo covered bed bugs.
No, I don't think any medical professional anywhere endorses them. Ugh, they're the worst. But yeah, it's crazy. Have you ever called in like, hey, I think we have a bed bug patient that's going to need decon? Like, have you ever done that, Aaron?
Yeah, but we just took him to a room because,
Oh,
yeah.
the hospitals I've gone to, like the nurses meet you in like hazmat suits. You go into a separate room. They like strip them down on your stretcher. Like,
Oh, that's
They have, like,
definitely
truck
what's supposed to
brushes.
happen.
yeah,
that's
like it's like in Monsters Inc. Whenever the guy gets
2319.
touched by the kid. Yeah, like that's how they handle it. Like I don't know. You'd think
I
like
feel like they're trying to shame them in not only just cleaning them, but shaming them into never doing it again.
yeah,
Because they're in hazmat suits with masks and truck brushes that you would wash your ambulance with and hoses, and they're just spraying you down with Dawn dish soap and whatever else they can get.
like on Super Troopers when they take Farva back for the delousing.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like.
I had a friend who worked at another service where the manager would use he wanted everybody to use Dawn dish soap to wash the trucks. And his statement for support for Dawn dish soap, which we do support here at Thanks for the Consult,
We support
was
dish soap.
Dawn dish soap, is that it was, if it's good enough for the ducks, it's good enough for the trucks. And that's just a quote that I really appreciate.
Huh.
We've used Dawn dish soap on the trucks on numerous occasions at my current
Yeah.
place of employment.
Yeah. Getting truck soap there was always an ordeal.
But it shouldn't be.
No, but it's like, where did it all go? With any luck, onto the trucks.
Arguably, truck
wanna know
soap
what's
should be easier to
hilarious?
come by than duck soap.
Yeah, I agree.
It's fair.
I encounter way
what's
more
hilarious?
trucks than I do ducks. What's
We
up?
were always out of truck soap, but I never saw anyone washing the ambulances.
Oh yeah, and every
Or
time
their own vehicles for that matter. It's
Yeah.
not like they were doing it on either.
Yeah.
They were lazy enough where it never happened at all.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, I would wash my truck pretty much every shift, and it's like chocolate milk pouring off of it. Like, that's how
Yes.
grody. Like, it was. It's like
It's not always just laziness. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a busy service, so it does become difficult at times, but
It does, but at some point when it's like, you still have salt on it in July, it's maybe time to give it at least a squirt down. You know what I mean?
that's fair.
Yeah. It to me, like I always hate, like, I have texture issues, which I think everybody knows by now. But like,
It's that tism.
yeah, like touching the back doors, like when you're closing them and they're like grody, like that, like sends me through the roof. Like I need to, yeah. So I don't know. I prefer to clean it. Like that was
So
my.
I think we can
like-
start referring to you as one of those Tylenol kids now.
Yeah, I think I'm the new accepted vernacular is Tylenol American.
Yes. It's less disparaging.
It is somehow. I don't know how, but yes. No,
We at Thanks for the Consult do not support taking Tylenol as a use for instilling autism.
I feel like maybe we just don't support the intentional installation of autism.
We do support.
It's fair.
We just would prefer a different method. That was a question, Aaron.
I think we may have lost Aaron.
I
Oh,
think
there he is.
No, he does this. He can sit real still and he just pretends when he doesn't want to answer the question.
You actually did lose me for a second.
What method of autism installation would you approve?
He's pondering this.
Pontificating even.
All vaccines.
Like all at once?
Just do them all.
Just all big giant vaccine cocktail?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my favorite way.
Yeah.
Watching Disney Channel for more than 3 hours also does it.
Okay. Like 3 consecutive hours, or like
Just
just
cumulative.
you have 3 total hours in your life to watch the Disney Channel?
And then you're done.
Like 3 hours and 1 minute. It's like, damn, now I got it.
If you've ever heard of Hank Green, you got it.
I feel as though you're really more identifying ways to identify.
If you wore a blue dress to prom, you got it.
I feel like that one's oddly personal. Like your prom date wore a blue
You
dress.
know, I didn't think about it, but my prom date did wear a blue dress.
And was she touched by the tism?
No, but I wore blue because of that. And yeah.
Look how that worked out.
Right. No, I think it was the Disney Channel for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn. Maybe COVID. COVID's another one.
Okay. I've not seen that particular study. I have seen there actually, oddly, there's a link between PTSD and PTSI and ADHD development, which
I've not seen that.
yeah, I guess it's part of the, depending on the brain injury, if you will, they're the psychologic injury. I don't, however you want to say it.
There's also a link between COVID and autism.
Is there, for real? I feel like you're lying.
Who's to say?
Anyways, while I look that up, but yeah,
What, the internet's going to tell you that? Come on.
but there is a link between PTSD and autism, or not autism, but just neurodivergence. So like ADHD, things like that. I guess, Aaron, there are, I guess, statistically speaking, those with autism have a higher comorbidity rate. So therefore we're more susceptible to a worse outcome with COVID, but the COVID did not
Chicken or the egg,
cause-
dude. It's hard to know.
Well, no, I'm watching the answer right here. It's,
If it's on the internet, that must mean it's true, right?
yeah, there's no link to the vaccines.
I didn't say it was the vaccine.
And there's no link to
The way the
disease process.
COVID-19 virus works is it takes, because it's called the spike protein, so there's a spike on it, and then it injects autism directly into your cells.
I knew we were going to go somewhere totally crazy.
Here, so like imagine that this little circle here, this is autism,
Oh,
or this is
boy.
the cell, and this is like the spike protein.
I don't
and
think
this
he's
is
old
the
enough to
cell, and it just
understand what
goes-
he's actually doing.
And then it does this. It goes.
I'm so glad you're far enough back that you're just a shadow figure for that, because I feel like that would. Aaron, do you know what that means? Like, do you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's old enough.
It's also a cell that's about to get autism.
Yeah. So
It's a shame that he's not around to show him.
I know. So, Aaron, back in middle school or high school, I don't know, like you would like do that and like put it on your leg, or just like try to.
I'm aware.
then-
It has to be below the waist.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and
so
then you got to brush it off, or you can get hit back.
yeah. So you've been pummeled before.
Mm-hmm. I used to do a handstand and do it. So that way it
What?
was still below the waist.
Wow.
It's actually kind of impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It
Dude,
wasn't a
Aaron-
long handstand.
Is like extremely athletic. Like looking at him, I think the term is
This is
sleeper
about to be an
build.
insult.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't expect him to be like totally cut and like, you know what I mean? But like he is. It's kind of infuriating, honestly.
It's only in peculiar ways, though. Like if you were like, "Hey, how much can you lift?" I'd be like, you know. But if you're like, "Hey, can you climb a wall using your fingernails?" I'd be like, "Yes."
Maybe it's your training regimen. You have just like a very oddly specific training.
set of skills that I've acquired.
I feel like we're gonna get copyright infringement lawsuits
We at Thanks for the Consult do not support copyright infringement.
or lawsuits. Anyways, Josh, what I'm sorry we didn't ask you this first, and I feel like a horrible person, but
You are.
what's your favorite IV catheter like type?
What do you mean in terms of type?
So I prefer the self-occluding. I don't care the brand so much, but I prefer self-occluding. And Aaron likes shorter, I do believe, non-occluding catheters. So he likes I think he likes the Gelcos, but like we're unable to confirm.
I've
that.
always liked the Gelcos.
Okay.
Now, with that said, over the years, since nobody is using the non-self-occludings anymore, at least not with any regularity, I've kind of become
Come on up to
accustomed to
Butler
using
County.
them. So or should I say complacent. But I've always liked the Gelcos. That's what I used from the start going
Yeah.
forward. I will say I do not like the Forbes catheters or the Forbes needles with that real long, useless thing on the end that makes it very difficult to manipulate.
The safety sheath for the needle.
I don't even, is it a safety sheet though? Because I think
Yeah.
it only goes into the back half of the needle compartment, and then there's the long like tube at the end that serves no real purpose.
No, that chamber is what the needle retracts into.
I'd have to double check that. I've never paid attention, but I don't think so.
Unless we're talking about something different. But yeah, that's
Fior, I have shared with you a photo of said catheter that I support
okay.
via your instant messages.
Okay.
Braun is who makes them. We at Thanks for the Consult do support Braun.
Actually, we can't in this household support them.
Well, I'm not in your house, so
I mean, digitally you are. Why are you being the way that you're being?
my mom made me this way. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Also would have accepted Tylenol as the answer, but
Ha!
yeah, here we are. I wonder if this will work.
Suspense is killing me.
All right. That is the one that you like. I'm not a huge fan.
Those are the ones that St. Margaret's currently has, and I'm not a big fan of them either.
Yeah. Like they just
Now,
feel flimsy and
The
short.
same brand that UPMC East has, it's the exact same needle, but it's the self-occluding version I actually like.
Yeah. Aaron
The
hates
real
those
short.
because of the wings. Like he hates them.
I prefer the wings on my angiocaths because they are a lot easier to hold down, especially on somebody that is very animated, moving around a lot, somebody under the influence. Being able to do a lot more with that other than just place a piece of tape right over the top of it,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, is very not only important, but it's a game changer a lot of the time.
Oh,
You don't lose your
absolutely.
IVs as much.
I agree. But to settle our debate here, so you're talking about this part here, right?
Yeah, and I think that whenever you retract, I don't think it goes all the way back, but I might be wrong.
I don't know.
Because the ones that Forbes has, there's two separate pieces. Directly behind the catheter in the hub, there's a section which I believe directly underneath of the blood chamber that the needle retracts into, and then that last little piece, I don't know what the actual purpose of it is.
So this area here is
No.
Can you see my mouse, by the way?
I cannot.
Oh. So directly under the button, there's the mechanical looking piece.
Yeah.
Then the small clear chamber where it's kind of squared off. That is the blood chamber for your flash. And then when it retracts the needle, it dislodges entirely from the mechanical section. And so it goes into this base. So
clearly I've not ever paid attention. I prefer not to use those if I can help it.
yeah, I honestly was the same way, but I've gotten used to them because that's like the options we have up in Butler County are that or that, but not self-occluding.
So my only thing is I don't mind the self-occluding or the non-self-occluding. I just prefer it to be all in one compact version, whether it's the Gelco, the ones like you showed that Aaron likes, or the self-occluding version of those ones. Doesn't matter to me. It just makes it very awkward, especially if you're in tight spaces, if the patient's moving around in certain ambulances, because even our trucks are big.
Yeah.
But there's certain trucks that you're right up against a wall starting an IV, and they just make it very awkward depending on the angle and stuff, how long those needles are.
Yeah, dude, I miss the size of those trucks, honestly.
It's a game changer.
Oh my God, I know. So where I'm at now, like we back up, there's in the area, there's only one service that has like trucks the size that, we're used to out there. So I've gotten used to like getting my IV started before we get in the truck, just because I'm like trying to like do it like with T-Rex arms and it's like
I've worked in large ambulances, mini mods, and vans. I hate working in vans. Mini mods weren't the worst depending on how they were set up, but a lot of times in the mini mods, they'll put the stretcher directly up against one side, and there's no way to move on one whole side of the patient, which to me is useless.
I don't know. I'd prefer it honestly in those mini mods because now you have no room on two sides versus no room on one side.
So there was one service that bordered one of my previous employers, still in East Boroughs, but towards McKeesport, that they had mini mods.
Yeah.
and they were set up almost identical to the trucks that we had at the time. But there was a little pathway that was maybe the size or a little bit wider than the width of my boot,
Mm-hmm.
that if I needed to, I could squeeze past. So if I needed to do anything, I could still get over there, and there was plenty of room.
Yeah.
I want there to be like a harness and pulley system from the ceiling that
Yeah.
I can just spider monkey over top of my
levitate
patient.
over your patient.
Yeah.
That'd be great until they start projectile vomiting.
Or
Then you just pull
kicking,
yourself up and you're above it.
or kicking you in the face and or genitals, you know?
Yeah, the East Boroughs, people like to get
Feisty.
handsy
Mm-hmm.
and feisty.
Yeah. Honestly, I think there's like a certain demographic of people in the East Boroughs that like they call the ambulance just because they're looking for a fight, you know? And they're like, well,
Usually
they'll
they're
do.
very easy to trigger.
Yeah.
You don't even have to say anything. You just walk up to them and be like, yeah, listen, I know you called for tooth pain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're probably not going to do anything for you. You can be as nice as possible, and they'll just go off.
Yeah.
Start
Oh, yeah.
freaking out over it.
Or when they call for the tooth pain and you're like, well, I'm not going to deal with the argument here. So let's go. And then you're like, hey, just so you know, they already told me we have to take you out to the waiting room. Well, this is an emergency. No, I get that. But like, there's people having like life threatening emergencies that they're going to have to see first. You're just doing this because, you're racist. Well, I mean, you heard me call, and did I mention your race at all to the hospital?
I absolutely despise that.
Yeah.
Everything else that can ever be said, might be one of my biggest pet peeves because it's detracting from people that are actually racist.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron, yes, it appears you have a question.
Yeah, I have a question for Josh. Are you ready for my question, Josh? What is your least favorite thing about Fior?
Well, I would say
Stunning good looks.
he has an affinity for holding the windows closed whenever you're in the ambulance with him. And releasing
After what action?
Yeah. Bonus points if I get the heat turned on too. Yeah.
Luckily, when there's two guys in the ambulance, unless it's incredibly cold, that's usually not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if you work with certain people, specifically some of the women, they get cold rather easily, and the heat is jacked up in the middle of July, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
And those are also many of the times when Fior would hold the windows closed.
Hey, again, sometimes you just gotta have pranks and good fun, and that was one of them.
I wish we could get back to pranking people more so than we do now, because people get super offended over everything.
Yeah.
And I think it detracts from not only the fun of working at places, but also the morale in general. Whenever people were just constantly messing with each other, even when maybe it went over the edge a little bit, but everyone would always at the end usually come back together and be fine or work it out. Now there's just everyone gets offended and run back to management over everything and complain and whine.
Yeah. Well, even stuff that isn't even a prank or anything, like, I remember there was an incident where somebody left their shoes next to a hand sanitizer dispenser, and then somehow hand sanitizer got on there. Presumably it splashed out, or it was like an automated one, like where it like has
Allegedly.
like a sensor. And like they went on a tirade. They accused everybody. I got accused of like pouring hand sanitizer, and I was like, when did this even happen? They told me. I was like, I was on past days. Like I wasn't here. So I wasn't me. But like I think also the people that make the pranks less fun and more like, I guess, harsh, if you will, are the ones that like nobody wants to be around them anyways, because they're just an obnoxious human being in general.
I think many of the times too, they're the same people that have the most to hide. So they're always looking for something to draw the attention away from them. It seems like they're always the people that are in that situation.
Yeah. It's like the person that keeps calling the speed complaints in their neighborhood in hopes that the cops don't search their garage and find a dead body or something.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the Karen that's actually the Dexter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, since Aaron's going to miss the cue, I guess I'll do it. We here at Thanks for the Consult don't endorse hiding dead bodies in your garage.
We do endorse speed bumps.
We do, but not out of dead bodies. That'd be clown shoes. I've had some of my goofiest calls out there. I had a guy once call that there's a dead body on his back porch. So like, us, the cops, we all go racing over. He's like, get there. He's like, no, it was a dream. I was like, all right, cool. You could have probably called back with that update.
I mean, honestly, every time, I swear, it's almost on cue.
Yeah.
Every single time that I say, whether it's to myself or specifically out loud, I've seen it all. Everyone in
Yeah.
this area somehow
Challenge
makes me
accepted.
wrong. They prove me wrong. Yes. I'm like, the level of stupidity here is incredible.
Yeah. It's also, I know working with you, anytime you announce like you have to go to the bathroom, you had just enough time to get in there and get on the toilet before the call came in.
Yeah, usually not even do anything at that point.
Yeah.
You're just sitting on the toilet and the calls drop.
Yeah. So
It's like there's a loudspeaker.
Yeah.
Like for it's there's a loudspeaker outside of the EMS station, similar to the fire departments,
yeah,
that have the loud, obnoxious
siren. Yeah.
siren going off. But it's like, hey, he's going to take a poop. Now is the time.
Now is your time. Yeah. So I mean, I would just like, if you're like, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'd just get up and start getting ready to go on a call. It's like, well, that's gonna happen.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's worse now too because we have less trucks on the road.
Yeah.
So the call volume's not getting any
No.
lesser. So
No.
the call volume's still there, if not getting worse with stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do a normal everyday task that used to not be a big deal,
Yeah.
at least not with any regularity. And
Yeah.
now you go to use the bathroom and it becomes a chore just because there's one, maybe two ambulances whenever you can justify 3 or 4.
Yeah. I remember one time I was working overnight there and our engine blew on the parkway. So had to get a tow truck. Your now boss, like my boss at the time, came out, took us back to the station. And I was like, hey, I really gotta go to the bathroom, blah, blah. So I go in, I go to the bathroom, and a call comes in for a lift assist. And like I got back, went to the bathroom. I didn't go log another truck on anything. And I hear her get on the radio telling County to stack that call that once my medic's done taking a dump, we'll handle that lift assist. I was like, nice. Now I got to figure out someone else's numbers to log into the CAD because, you know.
Let's be real. There were very few people that were suspects.
Right. I was like, come on, why you gotta put me on blast on the whole East Zone? But yeah. Well, hey man, it has been fun catching up with you and chatting. We'll have to have you back on for sure. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Before we go, is there anything that you wanna say? Use our platform as yours. Get out whatever message you want.
Oh man, I would just say that if you're interested in this career in general, you really need to think twice about it. Not saying don't do it, but
Yeah.
think twice, go do a ride along, make sure that you want to do it before jumping into this, because this is not for the faint of heart. We joke around about it. There's a lot of good times that come out of this and everything else, but there's a lot of stress both at
Yeah.
home, on a day-to-day basis with work. It's just as stressful for the people in your own residence that you live with, your wives and everybody else, than it is for you. More so now than ever before. And
Yeah.
make sure that you want to do this. Come into it with an open mind. And I encourage you to do it if you want, but I also want you to come into it and not just use it as a stepping stone. That's fine, as long as people in this career know that that's what it's being used for.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But also take it seriously, because it's a very serious job that needs to be treated as such.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to
I
have
would also
a big
implore,
no, go ahead.
I'll wait until, I would also say that I implore and challenge people that are in administrative roles to try to look outside the box, for both their supervisor positions and everything else, to try to bridge the gap between the current employees that are working in management. I feel like we are continuously in this job choosing the same people over and over again and recycling them.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe not everyone's the perfect for that position, and this isn't it's a cry for, I don't want to say a cry for help, but I just really want to see this change for the better. And right now it seems like we're stuck spinning the tires, continuously doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and it's not working. It's not
Yeah.
working at all.
I agree. I think a lot of people are stuck in the early 2000s mindset where you had people beating down the doors to get into the emergency services. So you could just treat people like garbage. And if they left, there's 5 more waiting to take their spot. And that's just not the case. I don't think you should ever treat your people like garbage, but and gone are the days where like I'll put up with all the BS because that service pays the most. People truly need leadership that they feel cares about them and looks out for them. And you are right, man. There's some of the same scumbags just get, service to service to service to service. And it's like, what's going to change if you don't change the people, But
I honestly don't understand it. It's crazy to me that it keeps happening over and over again. You hear a name for a director position come up, and it's the same pool of people over and over and over again, and everyone knows them from everywhere in the Tri-County area.
Yeah.
And it's like, he just got terminated a year and a half ago. What do you think's going to happen at your service? And we continuously do the same thing over and over again, instead of, finding a person that wants to do it and that you could groom into a decent person. And instead we just keep.
Thanks for the consult. Do support grooming.
Nope.
I don't mean it like that.
Nope. Yep. That's wow. Anyway,
it might have been too soon for that one, given the current situation that's been going on around here.
Right. Also, that's the other insane part. Like, these folks that are like terminated, it's usually because they've, like, the lesser of the evils is they've bankrupted the service, right? By wasting money or stealing money or whatever. But like, then there's like allegations of sexual impropriety and like at a criminal level, that usually it's like, I don't have a video of it, but we're pretty sure it happened. And we're just like, I don't know. They probably won't do it again. They learned their lesson. You know what I mean? Like, you kidding me? Like, I don't, and they just bounce from service to service, county to county. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, there are some really good service managers out there. There's some really bad ones too.
Absolutely.
But Aaron, do you have any final thoughts today?
Well, thanks for the consult. Do not support final thoughts.
We do. That's like our thing though.
Well, thanks for the consult. Support final thoughts.
I like that.
Do you support Final Destinations?
No comment.
I still can't drive behind a logging truck without getting a little nervous. Anyways, Josh, thanks for coming on, man. We'll for sure have to have you back. I had a good time. I hope you did too. Aaron, do you have a good time today?
I support having a good time on the Thanks for the Consult podcast.
Perfect. Josh, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for the consult. And
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
See you later, alligator.
In a while, crocodile.
Gotta go, hippo.
Oh, that's a new one. But for any of you at home that are interested in being on the show, please don't hesitate. Send us an email. Thanks for the consult at gmail.com. See you next week.